People who work for the super wealthy, what stuff have you seen? I often do work for the wives of wealthy professionals. The thing that has always stood out to me is that if I tell them that something they want isn't doable, they respond with literal confusion. It isn't anger. It's confusion. They are so unaccustomed to not being given exactly what they want that it's as if they don't understand what is happening when they are told they can't have something. $40,000 a year on sports coaching and travel, each, for 2 kids. It was a better option than having them get into drugs or blow money in other destructive ways. When the oldest kid turned 22, he got mad at his mom and yelled at her, "All I know about is sport." She said, "I know. But you don't have a cocaine addiction and 3 pregnant strippers like your Uncle Mark." Not the craziest thing but wild to me. I was working for a kind of well-off family during a summer. I went inside to get a drink and the mom was cleaning the kitchen, putting things away and such. She picks up a MacBook and says to me, "Hey, do you want this?" No one uses it. Got a brand new MacBook for college. Had a client come into our 3D printing office. His attention was immediately caught by a large industrial 3D printer in our showroom. Pulled out a credit card and bought the $250,000 machine on the spot. Best part was when we installed the machine at his facility. First thing he wanted to print was a meter-tall penis. Few weeks after the install, we got a photo of him standing next to the meter penis. Money well spent. I moved the guy that created eBay. He had Aretha Franklin's grand piano, played it, and Elvis Presley's coat, didn't wear it. I set up a party for a family out in the Hamptons that bought the house next door just to level it and set up a giant temporary party tent on the plot. Wild shit. Their kids, all young 20s, never shut the door when using the bathroom. Plenty times while cleaning the house I'd walk past the bathroom and see one of their daughters on the can. They'd often wave or say hi. Fucking odd. The owner of my company had a customer pay off a giant debt by signing over a yacht to him. When he went to the marina to get the storage info transferred to his name and saw how much it cost to store the yacht there, he bought the marina. My bro worked on a super yacht, quit the day he saw a 14-year-old take a massive shit on the deck and tell him to clean it up. Had a client who purchased a newly built penthouse apartment and wanted a jacuzzi on the balcony. It would have meant a structural column was needed in the middle of the balcony below, which the contractor who built the apartment block wouldn't go for as it would impact selling that apartment. Client buys the apartment below, approves the column, jacuzzi is installed, then privately sells the apartment below. Voila, problem solved. Pumped a bunch of money into the Malibu City Council in order to change a few seats. This would allow him to have the local ordinance changed so his front doors could be taller than 20 feet. Did appliance repair. One lady had a 10 by 12 walk-in wine cooler. Floor to ceiling stocked with wine. In her living room. Another person's house was made of imported stone and had a library the size of 2-car garage. My favorite was an old lady who just had nice stuff. She took care of what she had. Every time I went, she gave me $40 for a nice beer with your lady. I would always refuse, but she insisted and was basically the typical granny everyone would want. I do high-end florals in very rich area. See tons of obscene shows of wealth all the time. The amount of money some of these people spend of flowers alone is unfathomable. The one that I always come back to is a client who we were decorating their house for Christmas, and as I was hanging garland around their 6-car garage, a separate garage than the one connected to the house, I look in to see each of the 6 spots has a car elevator and is 3 cars deep. So there were 18 of the same exact $350,000 car. Why would anyone need 18 of the same exact car? Let alone one that expensive. I did a catering job years ago for John Paul DeJoria, Patron Tequila, and Paul Mitchell, and his house was awesome. Riverside, Texas, Hill Country. Beautiful place. We were packing up at the end of the night and the security guard came by and said, "Stay away from the windows, we are locking up." We said okay, and about 5 minutes later these metal drop-down armor plates came out of the roof, it seemed, and covered each window and door. Thick metal plating armor. I had a client gamble away $220,000 in one night. Never work for millionaires. They're just trying to prove something. Work for billionaires. They know what they want and will just pay what it costs to get it right. A caretaker getting paid 6 American figures for keeping up a multi-million-dollar house that gets used 2 weeks a year. I interned a long time ago where we had to clear every single check or credit card charge with a guy's parent because he got conned into joining a cult and the leader kept getting him to piss away his trust fund. Once there were enough checks and balances in place, he got kicked out of the cult for not paying up anymore. I felt bad for the guy. He was actually pretty nice, but his parents just pawned him off on the help while they traveled, and he was an easy mark because the cult made him feel loved. My sister worked on a private yacht of one of the old money US families. She said the parents all seemed okay. The kids though were fucked up, shitting the bed every night, drugs constantly, poor social skills. I coached sailing to the child of a CEO from one of the biggest US service industry conglomerates. When his child did well, he would take me out to dinner, sometimes with his buddies. The many stories they each told of cheating on their wives, drug taking, tax evasion and general scumbaggery genuinely shocked me, especially when I had a close relationship with some of his children. Radiant heated driveways to melt snow. A turntable to rotate their car so they didn't have to back out of their driveway. Lifts in the garage so they can park cars underneath each other. I did pest control for the CEO of a pretty big candy company. Dude had cases and cases of gummy bears in his basement. Like enough to fill a small U-Haul. Have a buddy that owns a window cleaning business. Came out to an estate to bid on the job, inside and out, for the entire property. Owner decided to just do half, and it was over $13,000 and 2 days for a large crew to complete. When my friend cashed the check, he noticed the memo, Windows, House 5. You weren't allowed to hand him or his family things that have already been opened or used. That bottle of sunscreen that was only used once. Don't even think about it. Everything has to be new. There was a desk that had bottles and bottles of just sunscreen that they only used once and never again. The interesting thing was this guy owned an eco-resort. I am a dentist and used to own a dental office in an extremely wealthy area. I feel like really rich people come in 2 flavors, very humble and generous, or just 100 a hole. Most are the a-hole. Not much in the middle. True wealthy people care a lot about time, not money. If there was any hiccup in a procedure or something wasn't correct, they would flip out. 99 of the issues they would flip out about I could fix, but that meant they had to make another dentist appointment, which wasted their time. I hated working on rich people. Best day of my life is when I sold that dental office. I work as a maid, not the most ideal job, but it pays well. Children are usually neglected because money can't replace a parent that loves you. Their kids are usually pretty spoiled too. Most kids have the whole Apple ecosystem. Also, what is it with rich children wanting to be from the hood? My aunt used to clean rich people's houses. I helped her once and I saw a tanning bed in the loft bedroom of a little girl 12 or so years old. I used to clean their super yachts many years ago. They are drug addicts, so many drugs. Back then I was young and happily consumed their leftovers. I worked at a house in which both father and mother were so busy making money in order to give their children a better quality of life that the eldest son, who was at my school, joined a gang. That guy didn't lack money, but he lacked empathy, love for other people, respect towards others, control of emotions. Nic Cage. I didn't work for him, but I worked beside his former private island. He would just sit on the beach and stare into the ocean